Hello, it is Thursday, it's 26th November. First of all, crazy, isn't it? Time flies. About to wrap up 2020 November already, isn't it? That's one thing. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the full moon of November 30th, right? That's right at the tail end of the month. In a second month, right, where the new moons and also full moons stack up very nicely within the Western solar month themselves, yeah? So really an opportunity for us to get deep in touch with whatever issues that we're facing, and also importantly for us to get really aligned with what we want to achieve as well. Yeah. So first of all, really quick on full moons and also the moon cycle in general. The waxing phase generally from the new moon up to the full moon, and then after that's the waning phase, right? So understanding lunar cycles is something that I've been talking about for this particular year, and I've found that in analyzing them and in really understanding how to work with them, it's really given me additional information to use for myself as a practitioner, as also to share with you as well. Yeah. I was asked recently this question: how do you actually work with them? Well, there are many ways actually when we work with moon cycles. One of the easiest way is to time our activities alongside it, right? So from between, say, the new moon to the full moon is a growth cycle, right? Generally, right? So it's the waxing phase, and it is good to time new endeavors. Generally, of course, we're talking about more sub endeavors, right? Not something that's like a major shift or major endeavor that you're building in the long term. You can of course time those with that, but other considerations still need to come into play if that's what you want to do. But in terms of like those sub goals and plans that we have, little mini projects here and there, that's something that's easily timed, or you can actually easily time that with the growth cycle of the moon. Yeah. And then after that, post full moon, it's generally good for a heightened realization, awareness, and also our intuitions and feelings, and getting in touch with our emotions. So generally, that is more on the awareness stage. So normally we wouldn't want to actually say initiate something that is very practical or very to do with day-to-day type activities, signing of a particular document, initiating a particular project, all that on the waning side of the moon cycle. Yeah, so that's one way we can use the moon cycles to an advantage, and also to work with it. Basically, more of the yang activities on the growing phase, the waxing phase, and more of the yin activities on the waning side of things. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you as additional information. Of course, there are other key considerations. Don't just time major things with the moon cycles per se. You have to look into other areas as well. Yeah. So in particular, as we approach the full moon of November 30th, there is again a heightened awareness. So in this particular case of this moon, number one is about to lead into the December eclipses. So that's one, right? So it is getting intense in terms of triggering of our emotions and where we are as we head towards the full moon. That's one. And then of course beyond that into the eclipse season, into next month. And this is really the time to be very firm in terms of our commitments, right? And more importantly, in defining our commitments with each other, right? So it really depends on your personal circumstance. It could be personal, it could be professional, and so on. Or it could maybe even be a bit of both, like what I have been experiencing myself, right? So it's getting real, it's getting to the core, getting really deep, right, into the intense connections that we have with other people, and into the deep and meaningful long-term commitments that we want to hold moving into the future. Yeah, all in context, of course, with the scope of where you are in life. What decisions have you made recently, right? So now is really the time to get real and to get really connected into making those big decisions that you need to make, in making commitments that you need to hold on to, particularly for the mid to long-term future, and then committing and sticking to these. Yeah, so it's all the energy of this mixed in with the energy of the constructing process, the rebuilding, depending on, again, what major changes have you done, right? What major shifts have you adopted, and how you are implementing those shifts in question. Okay, overall though, I have to say that there is in this clarifying and in being definite and in being making these big decisions or commitments, it will also simplify what we need to moving forward, right? Because sometimes when you have too many open-ended options or you have too many choices, for example, that you are thinking of deciding along the way, right, it can open up too many forks in the road. It can also leave energy, for example, and focus a little bit frazzled and all over the place. So in this simplifying process, it also helps us really to gain focus into these big commitments that we're making to implement the major changes or to aim towards a revised goal, for example. Okay, so simplify. Think about how to actually communicate clearly or clearer, in your particular case, your desires, needs, and your decisions and your actual commitments, right? So I'm sure in your own personal way, you've already felt this coming into play, even, say from last week, because we're just a few days, right, away from the full moon itself. Okay, so that's my message for you for this particular full moon happening on November the 30th, right? For those of you who have joined in and said a quick hello, I appreciate it. And, number one, please make sure you turn on notification. There's that bell icon. And then if you have not liked the page already, I would appreciate that. But more importantly, that you're notified, of me putting out new posts and so on. Right, that's much more important. Speaking of which, I have a new series on Bazi that I debuted last Friday. So the next episode is coming up tomorrow. That's one. And speaking of coming up, next weekend, next Saturday on December 5th is also my annual assessment Bazi workshop. So if you're a practitioner yourself, this is something that might interest you, right? On how we work with the energies of the moment. Part 2 is where this workshop is geared towards, because I had the part 1 last year, right? Working with these twin years of the year of the rat and ox, and seeing what the major astrological triggers are pointing us towards, and then going personal into your chart, for example, anybody's personal chart, to see what these energies are triggering us and really urging us to shift so that we can make those long-term plans come true. Okay, so that's happening next Saturday, December the 5th. And just a quick note that my special promo for my Bazi one-on-one consults, that's expiring on November 30th itself. So if it's something that you've been wanting to do, to get a one-on-one personal consultation where you can ask your questions and your actual exact specifics of what you want to know in lieu of what is happening at the moment, you've got a few days to subscribe and to order that particular service as well. Okay, so in the meantime, like I said, huge thanks to, let me just do a little quick shout out, Anne-Marie, JH, Venus, good afternoon, Michael, Donna, hi, thanks for always supporting what I have to show and share right here. Annie as well, I appreciate you joining me briefly on this short little live, yeah? By the way, if you have any questions, clarifications, right, you can still drop them down there, right? And I will definitely look into it once I actually go off live, post this, and have a chance to look at the post live comments. Okay, so appreciate it. Take care, right? And have a productive and deep full moon on November 30th. Okay, bye-bye.